It's all safe to assume that over here in the United Kingdom, the absolute, loathing of the current Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has reached, the biggest level ever. If you were allowed to have an election, he certainly would not be winning right now. All thanks, of course, to that terrible murder in the very heart of Knightsbridge in London. Literally, a terrible, terrible situation, and reverberations around the world, as I pointed out. And literally, this is exactly the sort of thing, as I also pointed out, no mention on social media, no, whether he's got in touch personally with the family, who knows, because he's not sharing that, but willing to share everything else. Of course, the ongoing case with the police up in Manchester, this is exactly what Sadiq Khan posted and said. Again, we have to say allegedly about these people. And when you think about it, there's a person who's claiming that London's open for all, there's no division, we're all inclusive. Well, it doesn't look inclusive from his words, does it? But now Sadiq Khan's London is literally crumbling around him. And this is all because, let me explain. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, I'm talking to you in the blistering sunshine here in the very heart of Kensington. I hope you're keeping well. Whatever you're doing today, if you are in the United Kingdom, or London or whatever, be careful, chums, because it's very, very warm. And, I know I natter like an old fossil, I know, but just be careful if you got some sweets or something, because you suddenly realize you're really dehydrated, don't you? And that's the problem. You just think, oh, I'm all right. And then you get out and you think, dying for a drink. And that's where you've got to be careful. And in my case, the fear of actually opening the wallet. I know. Well, I know. I mean, that can put you in a tailspin, can't it? Because you think, I'm not paying for that. But of course, your thirst conquers, doesn't it? Now, some people might say, of course, the situation over here is running dry for the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. As you know, that terrible situation in Knightsbridge was horrendous. I mean, for someone living here in London, it really did send a terrible shockwave, Now, here's where it gets interesting, because whether Sadiq Khan cares or not about exactly what's going on in this once wonderful capital city, you see, when it starts to hit business, now you've got a problem. And I can tell you exclusively that both Harrods and Harvey Nicks and all the big stores in and around Mayfair have now issued staff with further guidance and warnings regarding, their own personal safety. You see, what you have to remember is, the staff in Harrods, and Harvey Nicks, they dress incredibly well. They have nice watches. The ladies have wonderful, expensive designer handbags. And rightly so. They work hard. As Donna Summer famously said, they work hard for the money. They should look a product of the brand that they're selling. They should be proud of the companies that they work for. But all of the stores are now basically saying, plate down, low key, don't wear expensive watches, take off jewelry, necklaces, all of that sort of stuff. Now, I told you recently, I was on the tube and there was this very pretty young lady stood next to me, just absolutely gorgeous, youthful, everything. And she had all the jewelry on, the very expensive designer phone, the big bag, everything. And I thought, I'm not being awful, but this girl is ripe for mugging, because the wealth was there, you know what I'm saying. Now, as I said, Harrods also are going to be issuing warnings to, very discreetly, and as ever I have to say allegedly, to a lot of their customers, because of course, when they leave the store, they're going to now be providing extra security, as one can imagine, because it's a stone's throw away from where that catastrophe happened. But what a situation we now find ourselves in. The capital city, literally, of the United Kingdom. And the bottom line is now we're basically saying to people, well, if you do come to London, be careful, because all of your worldly goods could be robbed away in that. And literally, the Mayor of London has yet to do anything. Talks about putting more people literally on the beat. But as we were told 3 weeks ago, they're going to be cutting the police force because we can't afford it, apparently. And this is a man, clearly, who doesn't understand basic English. He refuses to acknowledge the rape gangs and all of that sort of stuff, refuses to answer the question. And even the adjudicator at City Hall basically said, I can't force the mayor to answer. The public can. He truly should resign if he had any self-respect. But this man is a grifter, in it for himself, and the bottom line truly is, you eventually will pay the price. But eventually, he will be gone, like all bad things. For now, though, do take care out there. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.